So I think that her mom has left along with her dad to go to Tahoe. So I think what she will do is go and actually raid her mother's closet. And she's certainly taller than her mother. So one of her mother's sort of black dresses becomes more of a little black dress on her. She's getting ready. And that stuff is rolling around in her head, and she's maybe more deliberately taking her actions. She's usually kind of hesitant and so on, or kind of jerky, but and probably as we see her move through the house, we might get a flashback to all those bits that we had in the very first session, the signs and things that showed the little bits and details of the murder, kind of the mark on the staircase and all of those things, claw marks on the banister. And I expect that will kind of end with her coming over to that mantle where she sees those pictures of her parents, of the awards and things from when she rode horses and those things. And she's probably kind of clutching her hands. And the last point of view shot is her looking at the fireplace poker that last session she was beaten to death with.
Gaze into the abyss.
That's a good point.
What would you be trying to find out as you make this tour around your house?
So that's going to be a 9. I think she is literally wondering how to break out of this.
Yeah.
Violence is not the answer. She wants to know a way out. Thomas is not the way. Being cool and getting attention is not the way. She doesn't know.
So I have to give you confusing and alarming visions, and I think you're going to be presented with 3 options, right? In alarming vision form. I think as you're like coming out of your mother's closet, like with her dress, right? You kind of like look down and to the left and you see your parents laying in bed. The bed sheets are just soaked red with blood, like in a horror movie. Option 1. Option 2, you are going down, and as you're grabbing a picture off of the mantle, there's also a vase of wilted flowers that you knock off by accident, and it smashes down, echoing what you did to Lilith in the first session. And you have a vision of you not just sitting next to Thomas, but like Thomas is like in his sort of like throne, right? His like strange twisted wood throne, in his moonlight dappled throne room, right? Wearing no clothing except his crown. And you are like actually like slave Leia style, like down at his feet, right?
In that suit?
No, not in the suit.
Ugh.
And the third, as you're moving through the house, I think you just see a vision of, maybe this is as you're getting ready for the party or getting ready for Yule Ball or wherever you're going. You're in the bathroom, and I think you just see, you look down and to the left and you see yourself in the bathtub, a bathtub filled with red blood, as if you had just cut your own wrists. Those are the 3 ways out. 3 ways to break the cycle. The choice is yours.
Ooh, I can't wait for my date now.
So, all of them problematic options in their way, right? Jonah, frame up your scene.
Yeah, I think that we're driving to the Yule Ball, and I'm wearing his nice clothes, and he's wearing his nice clothes, and I think that we like pull in like behind the school where it's a little dark, and slowly coast in and park, and then turn off the engine This is Thomas's car, by the way. It's kind of quiet in a weird way. Like maybe we hear like the music faint in the background from the Yule Ball. I think
Rocking around the Christmas tree.
yeah. And I turn to Ben and I'm like, this is the big night.
Ben is wearing gray slacks, and instead of a jacket, he has suspenders and like a bow tie.
Fucking hipsters.
And he's like, yeah, this is it. So do you have any plans for the Christmas break?
I think I grab one of his suspenders and like part of his shirt and just like pull him in and like start making out with him.
Okay. He will do that. No turn on required. He will do that. I think he will like. He'll stop you at first. He'll be like, wait. Just, I've wanted this for so long, but I didn't know how you felt.
I think I slap him and then pull him in again.
Wow. I think that might be too much for him. You know, Ben's more sweet than that, right? Like Ben is not like that kind of aggressive person. Unless you're trying to turn him on. Like, is this...
I'm totally trying to turn him on.
Is the aggressiveness like part of that? Like a dominance thing?
A little bit. It's also kind of like, shut up, stop talking.
We'll roll it. Let's see how it goes. What was that?
That is a 6.
Ben's brains splatter on your face. The windshield shatters. You see the silhouette of a figure standing across the parking lot, that dark part of the parking lot. Hold that thought. Lilith, if you don't mind, I'd like to say how you come back to life. This would be like, I think it's in the evening. I think no one's found her body yet. Genevieve comes into the bathroom and she kneels down, kind of like props your body up against the toilet. More toilet imagery vis-a-vis Genevieve, right? Props your body up against the toilet and she just kisses you. She just begins like making out with you. And you find yourself in this flowery glade with a huge, thick shaft of sunlight beaming down, right? It's like when Link pulls the Master Sword out of the stone, right? It's that kind of thing. That Barbara Walters soft focus, thing going on, right? And the two of you are just making love. You're not wearing your earthly clothes. You're wearing nothing. You might have like twigs or flowers like kind of interwoven in your hair, but you're otherwise like quite naked. And the two of you are just making love, and it's wonderful. It's like a wonderful dream, right? And then you hear the flush of a toilet and you find yourself in the stall with no one. No one's there with you. You're just there. Your throat is sore, like externally sore, right? Like bruised. What do you do?
We get a shot of her putting her head out of the stall, looking to where she died to see if it was like even all real. Must seem like coming awake from a dream too. So
you definitely have bruises on your neck. He definitely had his hands around your throat.
Yeah. I think what Lilith wants to do, which tell me if this is weird because we want to go for the Yule Ball thing too, but I think the first thing she'd want to do is immediately get revenge on Thomas because she goes darkest self. And the thing that I need to escape my darker self is you must in some way rebalance the scales of justice. Number one, being killed wasn't cool. And number two, she had just seen that Thomas had like wreaked havoc on the Fae court for a while as well. So I think there's a double-pronged justice. So
you're going straight to Thomas. That's fine.
Yeah. So what I was thinking of is maybe spending my string on Genevieve to guide to go to the Fair Realm to sort of like rally up the troops.
Okay, I like that. Yeah, that's good. Go ahead and spend it. We'll come back to that. Marco. Give me that scene. Sister Mary Edward leaves. As soon as she does her thing and sees your body like convulsing, she considers job well done. Best to leave before anybody shows up. She drives off.
Yep. So the convulsions become stronger and stronger. See her heels drumming against the ground and her back arches and then her head tips to the side and you start seeing the silver liquid come out of the side of her mouth and these tentacles are literally like pushing it out.
Yeah.
And then one big like vomit forth of the liquid and the tentacles kind of come out farther and then slither back in. And she sits up and you start seeing, her starting to transform into the wolf shape.
I would like to suggest that your werewolf shape is actually like a sort of Cthulhuid horror werewolf shape too. Right?
The Eldrazi.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what I imagined. Like something like that. Yeah, like that's fucking terrifying. Okay, good.
Yep.
Ooh, it's got webbed claws. Ugh, that's so gross. All right.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yeah, I love it. You begin that transformation, and once you realize the transformation is happening, where do you run? Because presently you're in the courtyard of the mobile home park, right? Like, do you go somewhere else or what?
I think we see Margot taking deep sniffs of the air and down by the tire tracks that are left by the huge old caddy that Sister Mary Edward Price drives. Like she's trying to get the scent for that. Maybe she goes charging off following.
Yeah, I'm going to suggest that like maybe this is while you're in the middle of transforming too. So like you're in the mobile home park, like the transformation is taking place. We assume it's not instant, right? Like it's
right. It takes a while. Tentacles are ripping out through the fur. And
you will look up in your horror and your pain. You will look up and see your mother's car coming in. She's coming home early from her shift. You still have enough control to get out of here if you want to try to run away.
Yeah, I'm going to have to try to run away.
Roll volatile.
5 plus 2, 7.
Choose one. You get away, but
I think I cause a big scene. Like maybe I actually go running right across the car, tearing up the hood. We, of course, can't afford another car. She now sees this creature. She may have had questions all along about Margot. Breaks the windshield, the whole works. And so she's traumatized, obviously, by seeing this horrible thing.
And now the cops are going to be involved, right? So
yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yep. And Margot goes charging off.
Nice. I love it. All right. The game is afoot. Well, Ellen, you've done your tour de terror of your own home, gotten your answers. You're still expecting Tony to come pick you up. Would you like to go there, or would you like to do something first? Or...
I have a scene with Tony, so yeah.
Okay. Tony pulls up. You know, he drives like I think he drives like probably a black Ford F-150, right? Because of course he does. But you know, Tony's the nice one, right? Of Jonah's gang, Tony is like the gentleman, right? Like he's the nice one. He was the one who like was being, you know, emo with Serena. So I think he gets out. He's he's wearing one of those like tuxedo t-shirts, you know, like it's not an actual tuxedo. It's like a pair of jeans with a t-shirt that looks like a tuxedo. And he gets out, but he has flowers. You see him from the window, right? He's coming up and he rings the doorbell. What do you do?
Open the door and treat it like I don't notice that he's wearing that, which is, and I thank him for the flowers.
Right. Well,
don't worry, you don't need to meet my parents. They're not home.
Oh, okay, cool. He feels like a little fish out of water, honestly. So maybe, do you come with him? Just do you go to the truck? Like, are you ready to go?
Well, I think I will. I say, there is something I need to tell you.
Yeah, what's up?
Okay. Then I'll kind of lean in close. I'm a little taller. He's fairly tall, so he's not the...
Yeah, there's not a huge mismatch. Yeah.
And I think then I'm going to lean in and I'm going to use my new move.
Oh, what's that?
It's ending. It reads, you remember every detail of your death. When you tell someone about it, give them the condition morbid and roll cold to turn them on.
I love it. He's like, yeah, what's up? He leans in to hear this.
And it is that full-on ghost whisper of all the things that have happened. that kind of spilling out of that into his ear, in some ways passing it on to someone else, but also the fact that she's able to say it out loud is cathartic for her.
Yeah, that's good. Roll plus gold to turn him on. Monsterhearts is so weird.
14!
You are just at the moment where you describe your father dragging your body out to the woods and digging a shallow grave, when you look down to see that he has an erection.
Well, I will pull him inside then.
Sounds good. You get your string, and he's going to give himself to you. So, are you guys going upstairs to Mom's bed?
Absolutely.
Right. Sounds appropriate. Go ahead and get your sex move keyed up. I'm going to cut away. Ben is slumped down, his face in your lap, bleeding. Thomas's driver's side or passenger side window is shattered, and there's a figure silhouetted by the parking lot, the lone light out in this part of the parking lot. You see him silhouetted, and you see in that sort of like halogen, that white light of the lone light in the parking lot, that tall, those really tall parking lot lights. You can see the smoke from the rifle billowing up. What do you do?
I think that Jonah is kind of sitting there with the blood all over his face. And it might seem at first glance like he's calm because he's being so still. I think we see him raise up his hand and wipe his face. And there's something about the way that he wipes his eyes that makes it seem like he may be feeling something. Yeah, so what I'm going to do is push Ben off of me and see the person with the rifle. And I'm going to get out of the car and get around to the trunk and get my mask out.
As you get out and are going around, you hear him calling out to you. He says, "I told you should have killed me. I told you should have killed me when you had a chance. Why did you do it? Why did you do it?"
Do I recognize the voice?
It's the delivery boy.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, so I'll get my mask out, and then I think that I'll go ahead and ask Thomas to give me the power to get past his bullets and kill him.
Strings attached. All right. I will attach a price to the thing you want and hint at an undesired twist in its nature.
I want to kill him in a super gruesome way. That's what
I'm
want.
into that. You'll be able to do that, no problemo, because he wants to die. He wants to be killed. Twist is that this is Thomas's version of porn right now. So just know that you're performing for Thomas. The more gruesome, the more Thomas
he can enjoy it for now.
Enjoys it. Give me the scene.
After I put the mask on, I am walking towards him, and I throw off my jacket. I have a button-up shirt underneath. I think I just rip it open and take it off. I am taking the blood from Ben that's on me and smearing it down around my chest and over my stomach to make these kind of vague swirl marks. And I think that as I'm making them, green sparks start coming off of them. Right as I am reaching out to grab him, they almost ignite into bright green as I lift him up, and I'm staring at him as I'm holding him up, and I think he drops the gun, and then I'm going to reach up with my other hand, and I start tearing off his clothes. But after I tear off his clothes, I get a really good grip on his skin, and I just pull his skin off of his body.
And as you are doing this, as you are ripping his flesh off of his body, you can feel someone, something touching you. You are getting off on this, And this invisible force is also, getting off on this. Thomas is definitely like with you right now, and you may have to go change your jeans before we continue the Yule Ball.
Well, these weren't jeans. These were just my nice pants. But like the rest of my clothes, they were ruined. So
True, fair enough. And yeah, at the end, you're just there in this remote part of the parking lot, laying underneath this like sickly white light with the moths and flies, flying in and out of it. An assault rifle on the ground, laying in a heap of gore and ecstasy.
Yeah, I think I get up, and I think it's kind of cold, right? Like, you can see my breath. And I pick up the gun and just take it back to my car, throw it in the trunk, take off my mask, throw it in the trunk, and then I'm going to drive up behind the locker room and go in there and clean up and just grab some clothes out of the locker, some gym clothes lying around or something.
Yeah. I think you're out of darkest self now too, because you've destroyed an innocent person in order to prove your might. So Lilith, where do you go to make contact with Genevieve? How do you know to do it? Where do you go?
I think I just have like a feeling, like a gut instinctual feeling to go to that same pond, maybe.
Yeah. All roads
Yeah.
lead back to that, right?
For the audience cue to know that Lilith is changed a little bit from that experience, as we see her eyes and they're like royal purple. Thinking about it, and I was thinking it might be neat if I like the idea of her being a fae that like chose to be human for a while for like the experience, and part of that death that she just experiences, it's like another lifting of the scales of off the eyes, right? As she now kind of remembers being fae and choosing to be human, and Thomas robbed her of that experience as well, to want to live like a full human existence.
Yeah. And I think we're probably triggering a gaze into the abyss first. Maybe you want to hold on to your string for now. Gaze into the abyss, and I guess the question is like, how do you get in touch with them, or like, what do you have to do to get them on your side, or something like that, right?
Yeah, sure, that sounds good. -1 dark, let's do it. 7, 6.
6. Okay.
Yeah.
Mark an experience. We're gonna just see you like kind of kneeling at the edge of the pond, and I'm gonna come back to it. I want to hold the scene for just a minute. Margot, the sun's not quite down yet by the time you have let's say it is. Let's say you're tromping through the forest for a little while, and now we're all kind of like converging around the same time at night, right near the start of Yule Ball.
Yeah.
Where do you go?
Well, I guess the question is whether she can follow the scent of Sister Mary Edward's caddy.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Sister Mary Edward Price has returned to the Egyptian Palace Hotel and Bar.
Oh, seriously? Okay.
She's there, probably like putting on her good habit, her fancy habit, either that or her habit T-shirt for the Yule Ball, and she's in her room there. That's where she is, and maybe you're just kind of skulking around in the in an alley or something as you put two and two together in your hulking monstrous form. Even its busiest day, the main drag of Mercy Falls is not that busy, right? And especially Sunday night. It's not like there's a ton of crush of people that are going to see you or anything, right? So with that in mind, what do you do?
Previously, we established there's like an alley out back of the Egyptian palace where the staff go to smoke.
Oh, I think Homeboy's there smoking right now.
Yeah. He either needs to run away or he's going to get torn up. And then she's going to burst through the back into the kitchen area, create total chaos there.
Let's just back up. You go there, you're heading towards maybe in your monstrous like rage or whatever. You don't even realize where you're at. By the time you get to the back part of the hotel, it clicks with you like what's happening. And you see this guy, I don't think we ever named him, but you see him there wearing the little King Tut, headpiece, to serve food or whatever. I think he's got a stack of Giza pyramid onion rings, right? That he's kind of dipping into some ketchup while he enjoys a break. Keep her cool to avoid killing him, I think.
Okay, because I've got no problem killing him.
Oh, if you just want to kill him, go kill him. That's fine.
Yeah, I really will just kill him.
Right.
It's totally incidental, means nothing. He's just something that's in the way.
Yeah. And he may not even be enough to like take you out of darkest self either.
Oh, no, there's no emotional connection because it needs to be someone I care about.
Right, yeah.
And I was just using him last time. So
give me that scene. What does it look like?
just brutally casual as she just lashes out with a claw and rips his throat open. And maybe we see a tentacle quickly lash out and like maybe grab his tongue and rip it out of his mouth and flip it into Margot's mouth, and she swallows it down and then kicks in that back door and goes in the kitchen. We hear pots and pans flying everywhere. Screams.
People are running as you're like this horrible monstrous creature smashing everything up, right?
Yeah.
And when you go in the kitchen, it's like bright light, like you're fully exposed, right? We see every like slick tentacle, every dripping bit of viscera, every fold of your web-like skin. We see it all, right? Like in full Technicolor, right? You're smashing the place up. People are running and screaming. I think you probably lunge through the kitchen, continuing your rampage, right? And you get to a hallway that connects out to the front. And you take up all of it, right? Like you fill that space, right? Like from...
Yeah, she's huge now, especially with the tentacles coming out, brushing the ceiling and the walls.
You fill that space. Adelind, the woman who runs the bar, is standing at the end of the hall there as you're there, like heaving and seething and dripping and snarling. She takes out a cigarette and she lights it. And she says, I know this is against regulations to have a cigarette in a public building, but I feel like considering our present circumstances, the authorities aren't going to have much to say about that right now. Look at you. My goodness. You are something to see. I know lots of crazy things have happened in this town, but she's even like walking close to you, like clearly nervous, clearly scared, but excited, right? She's kind of like looking you over, right? And she says, so what are you going to do? You going to rip my head off, eat my brains or something, tear up my insides? How's this going to go?
Hello, listeners. We hope you're enjoying Monsterhearts, Memories of Mercy Falls. As it turns out, there are a number of costs associated with producing pocket-sized play, including various hosting fees, online services like Dropbox, and editing. You can help defray those costs by supporting the Gauntlet on Patreon. A $2 pledge goes a long way toward keeping the lights on at Pocket Size Play, and you won't just be supporting the show. You'll also get exclusive early access to each new Pocket Size Play series in its entirety that we produce. So head over to patreon.com/gauntlet and support this show today. Thanks.